Hey everybody, Venthros coming at you. This is going to be tutorial number 5. And in this tutorial, we're going to go over conditional branches. We're going to create an event in Townville. So let's click there now. We're going to go to the in, and we're going to put a little person right here. So make sure you're in event editing mode, which we are, and double click the square as usual. Okay, so a lot of this stuff, this is a slightly more tedious kind of event that we're going to create, but it'll give you a good idea of how to do this for the future, of course. We're going to call this event first quest, because essentially this is going to be the main part of our tutorial project, the first part of it, where we're going to this person is going to ask you to retrieve an item from a nearby cave. We're going to fight some monsters and bring the item back, and hopefully we'll get a nice reward. Okay, so we named it. It's going to be a person. So let's pick a graphic. It can be any, pick any one you want. I'm going to go here to 5. Let's go try 6. And I have to make it a somewhat interesting looking character, but it really doesn't matter. It can be anybody. I'm going to pick this gentleman right here. Okay, the trigger down here is going to be the action button. Obviously, we want to be able to talk to this person and find out what it is that they are looking for. So the first thing you want to do is create a text event command, because before we get the quest, we have to the character has to tell us exactly what it is they need. So we're going to create a new event command, show text. Now, we're going to do a couple different things. We're going to insert some text, okay? We're going to use a show choices command that it's either going to be yes or no, whether you want to help this guy or not, and then we're going to get into the conditional branch. So, without any ado, let's do the text. And you can make it whatever you want. I'm going to put, you look like an adventure. Do you have time to... Now remember, we're getting a little close to this margin here, so just keep that in mind. So I'm probably going to cut it off there. Do you have time to help an old man? And we'll leave it kind of vague like that. Let's preview it to make sure. And help didn't make it on there. See, you look like an adventurer. Do you have time to he an old man? So we'll just fix that real quick. Cool, now that should all fit in there. Good. So that is the text. We'll hit OK. So that is the first command in this event. So we'll double click to insert another event. And right under show text is show choices. So choice 1 is yes, choice 2 is no. There will be times when you might want to use 3 or 4 choices, but this is a yes or no question. So you can change the text to be whatever you want. We'll keep it yes or no for now. And this, when it says when cancel, that pretty much means when you press the cancel button, what happens? Well, in this case, it's going to be, it acts as though choice number 2 is selected. So that's fine, because escape usually means no anyway, so we'll keep that. So, this in and of itself is a sort of conditional branch, in a way, because we're saying we are going to, it says when yes, and then has a line for you to insert a command, and then when no, has another line for you to insert a command. We'll do the when no first, because that seems pretty easy. So we're going to say no to this guy, but we have to figure out what he says. So let's just say he says, alright, sorry for bothering you. So when you say no, he's going to say, all right, sorry for bothering you. That's it. Okay? That's all that's going to happen. When yes, it's going to be a little different. So let's show text. I kind of did that pretty fast, but we're going to show some more text. Let's say, I knew you would. I lost my sword in the cave too. Going to hit enter because of the second margin. I lost my sword in the cave to the south. I will pay you. Let's change it to I will reward you handsomely if you can get it back for me. We'll leave it at that. Let's preview it to make sure it all fit. I lost my sword in the cave to the south. I will reward you handsomely if you can get it back for me. And actually, if you want to get a little technical, the cave is to the southwest. So we'll just change that. Okay, that looks good. So now let's hit OK and test out what we have so far, just to make sure the yes and no worked properly. Like I said, you can never be too careful. Even the pros out there will do hours and hours of work, and they won't test it, and then they go to test it, and something's wrong, and then they have to backtrack through all that work. So I don't think I went in the wrong building, but I don't think you can do too much testing. I'll turn this down for right now. All right. So here's our gentleman here. We're gonna hit enter. You look like an adventurer. Do you have time to help an old man? Let's say no first. Alright, sorry for bothering you. And then that's it. You look like an adventurer. Do you have time to help an old man? Yes. I knew you would. I lost my sword in the cave to the southwest. I will reward you handsomely if you can get it back for me. Great. I'm sure I didn't need to read all that to you, but that just, I guess, shows us that our yes and no conditional branch worked. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to do another. What we want to do is what we want to have is a switch, and we kind of briefly went over switches in tutorial 3.5. So let's open this event again, and to do that, you just double click on this guy. Okay, you want to use a switch here because after you tell him that after you tell this character that you're going to help him, if you talk to him again, you don't want him to start all over again. You don't want him to say, you look like an adventurer, do you have time to help an old man? Because he already knows you're an adventurer. You already said you would help him. So maybe we could have it to where he'll say, hey, did you find the sword yet? Or something like that. So to do that, you need a switch. So down here underneath the I knew you would text string, where this line is, I didn't really do a great job telling you here, but the at symbol and the greater than sign here, that indicates that you can place a new line, a new event command there. Okay, so in the blank line under the yes text that we made, all right, don't do it under the no, okay? Because we still want to be able to help this guy eventually. If you say no, eventually you're going to want to come back and say yes. Okay? So you want to make sure you're under the when yes string here. Double click. We're going to go to control switches and we're going to create a new switch. So you might remember this screen from tutorial 3.5. So click the dots here, and we're going to use switch 2, and we're going to call it spoke to old man. Okay, that in and of itself doesn't actually do anything for the game. It's typing a name for your switches. That just helps you. Okay, that keeps you from being confused as to what switches do what. So spoke to old man, hit OK, and we want the switch to turn on here. So hit OK. So the control switches is in red. So we talked to him, we said we would help him out. He says, I knew you would, I lost my sword, blah, blah, blah. And then the switch is on. So if you remember, now we have to create a new event page. So go up here, new event page. Okay, so we're on our new event page. And this is critical. People make this mistake all the time, and I actually used to make this mistake too. So when I click on page 1, okay, and click on page 2, other than the fact that there's no commands here, the what's happened is the graphic goes away. So you have to reassign the graphic. Alright, so I believe that was under, okay, people 7, there he is. We want the same man, okay? Okay, so we got that. And now we want to tell this event page that the spoke to old man switch is on. So now that the spoke to old man switch is on, now this page of event commands is going to trigger when we talk to the guy, not this one, okay? Which is what we want. So let's insert another command for text. Show text, and then you can write back already. Did you find it? Or let's change it to, did you find it already? Alright, so that's cool. Did you find it already? So now what we can do here is create a conditional branch that, well, first let's do a yes no. Let's do another yes no. I'm sorry, I'm kind of jumping around here. Did you find it already? We want to show choices, yes or no. And let's do the no first, okay, down here. So we want him to say something like, please find my sword. So you're telling him, you already told him you would help him out, and you're talking to him again, so now he's like, okay, well, did you find my sword? You say no. It says, please find my sword. That's fine. You can have it say whatever you want. I've seen projects where people curse and swear and say, go find my damn sword or whatever. You do that however you want to. So, when you tell him that you did find the sword, we want the game to check your inventory to see if the sword is actually there. Okay? So, let's do that now. When yes, we are going to double click. Okay? Now, you're going to go over here to flow control. It's on the first page here. And you're going to want to click on conditional branch. And the description is, creates a portion to be run only when specific conditions are met. And the specific condition that we're going to meet is whether this sword is in our inventory or not. Okay? So we're going to click that conditional branch. Okay. So there's a couple different pages here. Alright? All different conditions that you can have. We're going to go to the 4th page. We're going to go to weapon, because the guy wants to find his sword. And we are going to pick a sword. And I'm going to make it the, I don't know. I don't think it really matters. The Muramasa Katana. Okay, make it anything you want. It doesn't even have to be a sword. It can be a potion. I mean, whatever you want. It's just to give you an idea how to do this. So, now we want the game to check whether this item is in your inventory. And we want to include equipment because you might be able to equip the katana. And we want it to make it to where you have to give it back to the man. So that's it. That's a very simple conditional branch, okay? So we're going to hit OK. Well, I'm sorry. Let me go over this. Set handling when conditions do not apply. If you uncheck this, it automatically defaults to where if you don't have it, nothing happens. Okay? But we want him to say something when you say that you have it and you actually don't. Okay, so hit OK. So now you have show choices. Okay, did you find it already first? Show choices yes or no. When you select yes, the next line says conditional branch. Muramasa Katana is in inventory, include equipment. The next line is pretty much defining what you want to happen if you have the item. Else is pretty much the same as no. Else means that you don't have the item in your inventory, so we're going to do that first. So we told him that we have the sword, but we actually don't have it. So we're going to show text that says, please don't kid around with me. I really need that sword. Alright, so there you go. So you said you have it. The game checks your inventory. You don't actually have it. And he's going to say, please don't kid around with me. I really need that sword. Like I said, you can forego that step if you want. You could uncheck the set parameter box. But now we want to set some things to happen when you have the item in your inventory. So we're going to show some text. We're going to say, oh my, you actually found it. Here is the reward that I promised you. Make sure that's in there, okay? So, not only do we want to show some text, we want him to give you some money. Okay, that seems like a pretty good reward for finding something for somebody. So let's just kind of go over it again. Okay, this we already kind of tested. Okay, you look like an adventurer. Do you have time to help an old man? You select yes. He says, I knew you would. This control switch spoke to old man turns on. Okay. Now we go to this page. He's going to ask you, did you find it already? You can select yes or no. If you select no, he says, please find my sword. And that's it. I mean, you can have him say whatever you want. If you say yes, I did find your sword, the game, using this conditional branch, is going to check your inventory to make sure you actually have it. And if you don't have it, he's going to say, please don't kid around with me. I really need that sword. If you do have it, he's going to say, oh my, you actually found it. Here's the reward that I promised you. We're going to actually add some gold. So go to the next line under the oh my, you actually found it line. Double click. And if you watch 3.5, you know that the change gold command is over here. We want to increase the gold. And let's say he gives you 250 gold for your troubles. Bam. Change gold plus 250 gold. Okay? You can also do some experience points. I'll do that just to show you how to do it. Double click the next line. Okay? You want to go to the actor, change EXP. So you can pick a particular actor. We only have one actor in our party, but for now we'll just leave entire party, because if you had more than one person in your party, you want everyone to get the experience. So let's say you increase experience by 100. Show level up message, you will show that if that increase of 100 experience points results in you gaining a level. So hit OK. So now, did you find it already? Yes. We got all of this down, okay? Now, we're going to create another switch very quickly, because once you give him the sword, we don't want him to ask you if you found it already. Okay, so kind of like what we did before, once we said we would help him, we created the switch so that he wouldn't keep asking us to help him every time we talk to him. Same thing here. After you give him the sword, we want him to say something different than, did you find it already? Okay, so what we're going to do, this line, under the yes branch, and you have the sword, and you gave him the sword, okay? That's where we want this switch to come on. So double click, go to control switches. We're going to name this third switch gave sword. We'll leave it at that. We want that switch to turn on. So control switches gave sword is on. So what do? Create a new event page. Make sure the game knows that this switch is on. Okay, remember, click the switch tick box, initial goal. We're going to change that to gave sword because we gave the sword to the dude already. Make sure your graphic is, you use the same graphic. The trigger is action button. And we'll just insert some text that says, I can never thank you enough for finding my sword. And that's it. Now we're done. So you could see that this event here with the different choices, yes or no, we put 2 switches in this event. We used 2 conditional branches, or I'm sorry, we used 1 conditional branch. We did the show choices command twice. So I think I've talked about how this is going to work enough. So I know this video has to be running real long, so forgive me for that. So let's test everything up till now. Okay, let's test everything we did in the past couple minutes. So another play test is in order. Let's go into the town. Do you have time to help an old man? Yes. I lost my sword in the cave. I reward you handsomely if you can get it back for me. So now our first switch, it should have turned on. So when we talk to him again, he should say something different. Did you find it already? Okay, well, we haven't even left yet, so let's hit no. Please find my sword. So that's the first part of that. Did you find it already? We're going to hit yes. The game checked and it realized that you didn't actually have the sword. So now we got this message. Please don't kid around with me. I really need that sword. So all of that worked. Now, to make sure that the last part of our conditional branch work, we actually need the Muramasa Katana to be in our inventory. So you can actually do that now without creating the cave, because we're going to want the cave to come over here. So we're going to do that in the next tutorial. We're going to create a small cave that the sword is going to be in. But for now, just to test it, let's go back to our inn. I'm going to create an event called a treasure chest. Okay? And I'm going to put that sword in the treasure chest just so we can test all of the parts of our conversation with this old man to make sure it works. Plus, it'll give you an idea how to do a treasure chest. It's real easy. So I'm going to put it right here on this square. So that is a quick event creation. It is a treasure chest that we want. So you can pick from different graphic. Now, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm moving a little too fast. I'm trying to hurry this up and get it in a nice length. So double click here to change the graphic if you like. And I'm actually going to use this treasure chest here. Again, use whatever one you want. And we want the weapon Muramasa Katana to be in the box. Okay? Obviously, you can put whatever you want. Money, items, weapons, armor, whatever. Alright, so we're going to hit OK, and that treasure chest is there. Okay? So, let's test it. Let's test it again, make sure everything's good. We're going to save our changes. Let's go to the end. Let's get the conversation out of the way with this guy. Do you have time to help me? Yes. I lost my sword. I will reward you handsomely if you can get it back for me. So let's go over here. Get the Muramasa Katana out of the treasure chest. So now we're going to give the guy his sword. Did you find it already? We're going to hit yes, and hopefully the conditional branch worked, and he's going to take the sword. You actually found it. Here is the reward that I promised you. So the 500 or the 100 experience points made Eric a level 2. All right. So there's a couple things we forgot to do here, and I'll try to fix those really quickly. So I forgot to do 2 things. One, well, maybe it's more than 2. When we give him the sword, okay, we actually need to we actually need to remove the sword from our inventory. Sorry about that. So we're going to create a new event command that says change weapons. We're going to take Muramasa Katana and we're going to decrease it by 1. And we're going to include equipment. So if you pick up the katana and you want to equip it and use it for a while, that's cool. But when you get back to this old man, he's going to take it from you. So we're going to hit OK. I'm going to control copy this event because we actually have to delete it. So change gold, change EXP, entire party, change weapons. All right, we want it to decrease the weapon. We want to insert some text, and I'm going to use the dim background because no one's actually talking. We're going to say, you handed the man his sword. He seems very happy. So, you give him the sword. He says, oh my, you found it. He gives you the gold. He gives you experience. You give him the sword. The text box is going to come up that says you handed the man his sword. He seems very happy. And then we are going to paste the gave sword on in there. Okay. Now, if you want, you could put another text box under the change gold that says he gave you 250 gold. It's probably something you should do. I'm not going to do it. But we are going to test it one more time to make sure it all works. Alright. Yeah, once I'm done testing this, we're done, okay? Sorry for the video being so long. So we know all this stuff works, so I'm going to go ahead and grab the sword now. And we're going to check the equipment. I'm sorry. Check the items. You see the weapons. Muramasa Katana is there. So, do you have time to help an old man? Yes. I lost my sword in the cave. I'll reward you handsomely if you can get it back for me. We're kind of cheating. We have the sword already. Did you find it? Yes. Oh my, you actually found it. Here's a reward that I promised you. It's going to say Eric's now level 2. Now, here's the text that says you handed the man his sword. He seems very happy. Now that's done. Let's check our equipment to see if the weapon is still there. And as you can see, it's gone because we gave it back to the dude. And let's talk to him again. He should say, I can't thank you enough. I can never thank you enough for finding my sword. So that is done. It's harder to... It takes longer to explain it and do it step by step. Once you've done it once or twice, making these events is so easy and so fast. You'll have no trouble. No trouble at all going through it. So the last thing we're going to do is we're going to delete this treasure chest. Because we're actually going to make the cave in our next tutorial with the sword in it. And we're going to fight a couple monsters. Okay, and we're going to, do all that together in our next video. So I do apologize once again for the length of the video, but hopefully you understand conditional branches and you have a better understanding of switches and events such as text, changing gold, and things like that. So, please like, comment, subscribe, tell all your friends. I'm Venthros. Thanks for watching.